Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Good morning, it's Saturday the 23rd of January. Our top story today, senior doctors have called for a shorter gap between the first and second doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID vaccine.
Health officials extended the wait from 3 to 12 weeks so as many people as possible could be vaccinated. But the British Medical Association wants that halved to 6 weeks, saying the policy was difficult to justify.
The Royal College of Nursing is calling for all staff in the UK to be given higher grade face masks to protect them against new variants of coronavirus.
Today marks 1 year since the Chinese city of Wuhan became the first place to go into lockdown.
Transport links with the outside world were cut and the population of 11 million were confined to their homes. At the time, it seemed like an extraordinary move, didn't it? We're joined now by Democratic leaders in the US Congress have said the articles of impeachment against former President Donald Trump will be delivered to the Senate on Monday. Well, they say dogs are a man or woman's best friend, and this one in Turkey is certainly testament to that.
11 minutes past 6 is the time right now. So the husband of a nurse who died with coronavirus after her baby was delivered is calling for better protection for pregnant workers.
Mary Ajipong died shortly after giving birth by emergency caesarean last April. John Ironmonger has been speaking to her husband, Ernest. Yes.
See you later on, Thomas.
You'll appreciate this, Charlie. I was out on the bike yesterday and I'm a sort of relatively new cyclist and I forgot when there's flooding on roads, particularly rural lanes, you get very big puddles to go through. My feet by the end of it were like blocks of ice because I was having to puddle through all these flooded lanes.
Yes. What were you wearing on your feet?
Like little trainers.
And did you have
I don't have the gear.
Did you have the big kind of muddy mess up your back?
Yeah, everything was soaking. It was all a bit undignified.
Oh, but he felt good for it though, right?
Ish.
Did you?
Sort of.
Waterproof
By the end,
trousers?
it was just a case of perseverance and getting through it.
Well done, well done. 18 minutes past 6 time now. We're going to have a look at the front pages now.
10 adults, that is, in England who've been vaccinated, which is an extraordinary figure at this stage.
It was one of those days yesterday, and we're going to talk more about that. Worth saying, in fact, as usual this morning, we've got a panel of experts. You'll know that we often do this Saturday morning. So it's 9:15 this morning we're doing that. So if you've got questions you'd like to ask, maybe things have come to mind because of some of the announcements yesterday to do with the new strains, how they're affected, the vaccine rollout, any of those things, do let us know this morning because we will try and get some answers for you. I have no shame. I've got no shame in. I know we just saw this a second ago, but I love this as a still as well. And you may well have already seen the story. This is the dog.
So sweet. And this one is, I don't know what you've been listening to music-wise in lockdown, Charlie, but a lot of people, because there have been fewer new releases anyway, but a lot of people have been reverting to some of the old classics. And the average age of any album in the top 20 being streamed at the moment is 8 years old, which means basically there's a load of old music being streamed. In this year's top 20, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours.
Really?
It's
Well, that's more than
your
8 years
era.
old.
1977. Queen's Greatest Hits, ABBA Gold, Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory. None of it very imaginative.
Do you think it's the equivalent of comfort food?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would probably go to one or two of those, I must confess.
Can I add to the mix? I haven't got anything to hold up here, but I did notice earlier, and I always have a little glance at the birthday pages to see whose birthday it is. Speaking of old classics, I say that cautiously, I don't mean the man, the individual, as in old classic music. Neil Diamond. It was his birthday today.
How old?
80 years old.
No.
80 years old, the great Neil Diamond.
Happy birthday, Neil.
He's not the only one who's had a birthday. Is he, Rachel?
No. I mean, they do come along every year, don't they? They are an unavoidable fact.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
And a rare day off, which
Happy
was nice.
birthday.
Thank you. 6:21. Now, our next story is one of hope and courage and one man's determination to do something positive to help him get through an extremely harrowing experience.
It was just 5 months ago that ambulance call handler Sean Ash was diagnosed with a very rare condition that paralysed him from the waist down.
After months of physical therapy, Sean has managed to walk a full mile to raise money for the London Ambulance Service. Ben Bland reports. Fabulous effort. So good to see that.
Yeah, we saw him a little bit yesterday morning. I don't know if you were with us yesterday morning. We saw him just ahead of it, and his children are so proud of Dad. And as he was doing the trip, you probably saw a bit of they were kind of skipping alongside and just enjoying the moment. People hooting their horns. It's a great day. Well done.
6:24, time to get a bit of sport. Cricket going on at the moment, but we'll start.
We've got the headlines coming up in just a moment.
The Royal College of Nursing is calling for all staff in the UK to be given higher grade face masks to protect them against new variants of coronavirus. A nighttime curfew will come into force today in the Netherlands in a bid to curb coronavirus infection rates in the country. The Royal College of Nursing is calling for all staff in the UK to be given higher grade face masks to protect them against new variants of coronavirus. That it was allowed to just do that, that it was allowed to just wander out the house. Just going, see you later.
Well, but it didn't cause any
Sit
problem
outside
at the
hospital.
hospital.
No, why
It's just
not?
there.
Yeah.
It's good. 11 minutes past 7 is the time now. So Thomas has got to the weather for us this morning. We've had a bit of everything this week, haven't we? Because, here in the northwest, there was sunshine and sleet, sort of all within one day.
Talk about lockdown restrictions, fair to say, is incredibly cautious at this stage, isn't it? And it's going to be very piecemeal as and when it comes, by all accounts.
Yeah, well, let's focus in for a few minutes on what Rachel was mentioning a moment ago about the vaccination programme itself. What we do know, and this is for sure, is that a record number of people were given the coronavirus vaccine yesterday as the NHS scales up its drive to vaccinate. You remember that target, 15 million people by mid-February. Still
possible, Mike was saying. Our reporter Olivia Richwald has been looking at how the vaccine rollout has been implemented around the UK.
Thank you.
My mum and dad were jabbed yesterday, and it's an experience a lot of people will have had. I don't know, have yours been done yet? I don't know. And just this sort of sense of gratitude and joy and relief when that happens. And our thanks to all those volunteers who are making sure that it's all done safely and it's all very well organised.
And it is worth saying, we'll repeat this several times this morning, just after 9 o'clock this morning, we have our experts. It's a regular thing we're doing at the moment. It's a chance for you to chuck forward any of the questions you've got. It's possibly across a number of the issues we're talking about this morning to do with the concerns about the new strain. It might be about the vaccination programme itself. Whatever it is, give us the questions and we will try and answer them as best we can.
Coming up on the show.
3 times, please. Headlines coming up in a moment. Hello, this is Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Charlie State.
Doctors are calling for an urgent review into how long people are waiting to receive the second dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
Yes, the jab was approved with a gap of 3 weeks between doses, but this was later changed by the government to 12 weeks in order to allow as many people as possible to be vaccinated.
Well, now the British Medical Association has written to the government's chief medical advisor, Professor Chris Whitty, urging him to review the policy.
Well, Dr. Chan.
Right. Your response to that, very welcome at BBC Breakfast. As Charlie said, much more to come on the vaccines. Any questions you have, you can get in touch with us here this morning. But let's talk sport now. Mike is here and...
let's take a moment and have a look at the weekend weather. Thomas has the details for us right now. Yeah, Thomas.
Right, it is 7:47. Thank you for being here and watching BBC Breakfast. Time now for this week's Click. Let's speak to our political correspondent. I assume this issue about potential new travel restrictions is the next big political decision that they'll have to take there in Westminster. Today marks exactly 1 year since the Chinese city of Wuhan became the first place to go into lockdown. Democratic leaders in the US Congress have said the articles of impeachment against former President Donald Trump will be delivered to the Senate on Monday. The full trial, the memes from all those sea shanties are brilliant. There's a version of that sung by Chris Whitty and Jonathan Van Tam and Patrick Vallance, all about the vaccine. Some great stuff out there if you have a look for it. Stay with us, we've got the headlines coming up. The Royal College of Nursing is calling for all staff in the UK to be given higher grade face masks to protect them against new variants of coronavirus. Democratic leaders in the US Congress have said the articles of impeachment against former President Donald Trump will be delivered to the Senate on Monday.
Thank you for everyone who's sending those questions today. It's something I know a lot of people find really useful and it really helps us because, as we always say, there's no such thing as a stupid question in these situations, and often the questions are the same, just different, in different ways. But all works.
We've built our entire careers on it, Charlie.
That's true.
Time for Saturday Kitchen at 10 o'clock on BBC One. What's cooking there today, Matt? Coming up in the next half hour, we are talking
headlines and the all-important weather coming up in just a moment.